Hey guys, Adam, Carrie, Whole
Hi.
Life Entrepreneurship. Good to see you.
Hello. It's Sunday,
Sunday.
and evidently there's a big fancy foosball game on.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday. We are in our pajamas from here down. You guys just can't see it. You'll just have to trust us.
Fancy football pajamas.
But no, we haven't even turned it on. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know who's playing. Normally we would, but it's been a little bit of a wild and wacky week.
Kid with flu.
Yes, the flu has hit our household. So I have been in full on crazy nurse mode for 5 days
Yeah.
and counting. He's been better today. In fact, I messaged his teacher to say he's better. He hasn't had a fever in a couple of days. Can he please come back to school? They said no.
Not till Wednesday. That's awesome. That's 3 days extra. But isn't it nice for us to be able to spend more time with him?
Isn't it nice?
Tell you what, this week that kid's gonna work. Because he's not sick.
Well,
Anyway.
here's what happened.
What happened was this.
Here's what happened. All right, so we're talking about the foosballs. Imagine, if you will, that in an entrepreneurial family, sometimes there is one player who is very much needed because that's the player that goes and makes all the big plays, right? That does not mean that he's more important than everybody else on the team, but because let's say he's a quarterback, you have to protect your quarterback. So this week we've had a really sick kid, a very sick kid, and I have quarantined him, and
Protected the quarterback.
I protected the quarterback. That is my quarterback.
This is Sandra Bullock from Blindside.
I don't know about all that, but I put myself in a position to be the one who would probably most likely be the one to get sick if anybody else caught it, because he had a lot of really important meetings to get to on Friday in Atlanta, which was, a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
And then that was pretty important for you to be there. And so I really did not even let you see him.
You heroed up and jumped in there and did all the things.
We quarantined him, and you were not allowed to see him. You couldn't even go in. Like, you could go through there to get your clothes out of there. But other than that, I was really the only one that went in that room because I didn't want everybody else to get sick.
Yep.
There may be a good chance that I'm the one getting sick now. But my point is, sometimes you have to understand what your team needs.
And why your team is doing what it's doing.
Which is one of the big reasons I feel like we started trying to live a life where we were at least on the same team.
Seems like that would be a given, but funny enough, no, it isn't. There's a lot of reasons for people getting together. There's a lot of reasons to do this business thing. And if your reasons are different than somebody else's, doesn't mean it's wrong, but it does mean there's some work to get on the same page to make sure that your dream isn't destroying someone else's dream.
I would agree with that. This week is not one of those things. It's not like I was missing out on some big dream to have to stay here and take care of a kid with a flu.
And actually, that's kind of part of the dream, to be able to stay home and take care of a kid with the flu. A lot of families can't do that.
Well, right. I mean, that's one of the big benefits of being an entrepreneur is that you get to have the flexibility to kind of, depending on your space, depending on your agency, depending on what your actual job is.
What season?
But for us, we have that flexibility that we can kind of move and shift things around. In fact, we actually took another kid out of school to be able to have one parent be with one sick kid and have another parent take another kid to a different appointment. And it was crazy. And so that's one of the reasons we do what we do.
Feels like a high five moment. Gotta get on the same page, kids.
Yeah. So, other reasons why it's important for us to really create a life of balance. What do you think?
Well, there's a lot I want to get done in the world. So if I'm thinking about myself personally, I'm very driven to put a giant dent in the universe, be a change agent for good, try to always work and improve and help the folks around me and all this stuff. And what I have learned is when you go it alone, you can only go as far as you can go and then you burn out. And I understood that, but in the back of my head I was like, yeah, but I'm pretty good. So even if I go solo, I can still do better than the majority of the world. You will crash and burn. You will burn out. I believe now that the only way to really put the impact into the world that I want, I have to go and not worry about what I want. Isn't that interesting? The very thing that's going to give me the power and energy to go out and change the world is not caring about changing the world and actually doing the work to build a balanced life. When I over-focus on the mission and I don't give the attention to the supporting structure around the mission fails. It has been very interesting to learn that on the front lines, punched in the face often and continuously.
Do you have any examples?
I'd rather not. Well, I mean, when you say that, like a whole litany of things go through. Man, I have done 72 hours straight of work. I have sacrificed everything and I have gone the extra mile and I have done it. I've done all of the things that people at work would go like, that guy's a go-getter. That guy's really doing it. He's on the road again. Again. And I find that I can sacrifice and do the work, but often the effort needed to do all that is because I didn't do something earlier. Without having a full idea of all the parts of life, I often find myself reacting constantly, which results in me having to go and do these superhero efforts where when I slow down, focus up, bigger view, tie back into why I'm doing all this, I can act and have a bigger impact doing less things and have more time for everything else.
I completely agree. And I think too that I have to have, everybody says you have to have your why. I actually have, and I give myself permission to have multiple whys. I have a why that's a personal why. I have a why that involves my kids. I want my kids to see me doing hard things. That's really the long and the short of it. They'll believe that they can do hard things if I role model that hard things are possible. I have this personal, like I'm the only person that I have to beat, and I only have to beat the girl that I was yesterday kind of thing. That's another one of my whys. And then another why for me is that I want to have really true impact in the world. I believe that that's something that I am 100% capable of doing. And so every day I kind of wake up and go after that. But to be able to do those things, like you say, I've got to be able to juggle all the balls all the time. So if the whole time I'm juggling the balls, I'm going, like that's not going to get anything done. So I have to slow down. I have to look at the big picture. I have to take it one bite at a time and just, do the next best thing. Yeah. And to get me closer, just to move the dial even just a little bit that day. And then I start all over again. And I'm not going to say it's not exhausting.
Well, it is exhausting. But the thing is that that's why you have to have a whole view of this.
I agree.
If you don't take time to recharge, if you don't take time you're juggling all the balls, so you're like, nope, catch, put them down, step back.
Right.
If you can't do that, then something's wrong.
Well, and if I were doing this, so there have been other things in my life that I thought were pretty momentous for me, that I did not do.
What do you mean?
Because I wanted to show my kids. Like, I had to go back and finish my degree. I didn't do that for them. I didn't really do that for you. I didn't do it with your support even necessarily. I just did it because it was something that I wanted to do. Other things like that, like it's so much easier to go after this thing hard with you.
That's the truth.
And that's awesome.
Doesn't mean it's easy.
Doesn't mean it's easy.
But I want to point something out. You said you want to have an impact and change the world and help the world. I said I want to have an impact and change the world. But that was not the only thing she said. So if you are with a human being who you care a lot about and may want to do your life with them, note that we have very different whys.
Yeah.
But we have some of them that are in common. As long, and I'm going to throw this out here, this is the 80-20 rule. 80% of awesome comes from 20% of the effort. If you share 20% of your whys are aligned, we both want to have an impact in the world, and we both want to do it through this. And by the way, there's more, but at the very least, we have a couple. We have 20% of our whys are definitely locked in. That's the fuel that you need to take the next step.
That's right. So, speaking of next steps.
Yes?
We have something really exciting happening, and we're so stoked to be able to finally open this up to the world. And we will sort of be dripping out a little bit more information about it all through the month of February. And we're super excited. Do you want to do the honors?
No, I think that you need to do the honors.
Okay. So we are officially doing a soft launch of what we are calling the Whole Life Council. And that is super exciting for us. I mean, we've had this community that we've been working with for a while now. Yep. And to kind of be able to level it up a little bit is very exciting. If you're interested in knowing more about that, you can go to WLE Mission/Council. It's COUNCIL.
Yep.
I always get that wrong. The other thing about that is that we'll be kind of doing our content here sort of along with what we're doing in our group.
Yep.
So you may sort of see things that are a little bit more theme-based if you watch us here on the main page.
That's right. And it's going to be great because here's what we've learned is we've been able to successfully connect an awful lot of people,
right.
and that's been great. But what we really want to do is help people progress through their life with their eyes on the prize, a life of success without regrets. And we've spent so long coming up with this system and this methodology, and we needed the right structure to share it. And we have found it, and it's in the Whole Life Council, and it is, dare I say, fantastic.
You can also go here in our little group here, and you can click Visit Group, and it'll send you to our page. And we can send you some more information about that there. If you just put in your email address, we're happy to do that. It's so exciting.
Yes, you are the people we want for our soft launch.
Yes.
That is from the 1st through the 14th. And yeah, send us a message. We want to talk to you.
We would love to hear from you. We are only able to take 100 people this month just because we're being very, very intentional about how we're building this thing out.
Yep.
And so we're kind of doing it as a test group. So again, if that's something that you want to be in on, make sure you either visit the group, ask to join the group, and then we'll send you information, or you can go to the website, wlemission.com/council.
I remember the first soft launch of a business I went to. It was for
It makes me feel like soft lunch.
soft lunch. Well, it was at Fireforge Brewery. They didn't even have the bar fully constructed. It was like, no, it's gonna be good next week. We're gonna have it finished, but for right now, we need you to pretend there are bar stools here and order like you.
And now it's like one of the most successful breweries in
But
the county.
the thing is that during that soft launch, they needed people they love to show up, actually do business with them, pay money for a beer, have the point of sales break, and give a hug and be like, yep, that's why we're doing a soft launch. We gotta figure out all the things that don't work by doing live fire sales.
That's right.
So guys, help us out, help us test this thing. The content, fantastic. The system, fantastic. We got 2 more weeks of learning, and we hope you go along with that.
Yes, and we appreciate all the love. So we will see you next time. Have a great week.
Bye.